The life of a single mother is very difficult. After separating from her ex-husband, Lola lived alone with her 2 daughters. They moved into a big house left by their father, although they had a place to live. But for a woman without a job, there was still a lot of heartache ahead. Until this night, she was in a bar. After meeting a handsome young man, Lola's life changed forever.
Hi.
How you doing tonight?
Me? Great. Thank you for asking.
For a single mother in her 40s, when she was approached by a handsome young man, Lola, like most people, she was completely defenseless. It was more like a beautiful encounter, fueled by alcohol. A group of people chatting without formalities. The scene was so lively, you couldn't tell. They were a bunch of people in their 20s and 40s, and so the 3 boys were taken home by Lola. The next day, faced with the presence of strangers in the house, the 2 ignorant daughters were stunned. Even the mother. She was also shocked by what her daughters had done. Just as the 3 boys were about to leave, they recognized Lola's mother.
No, I feel like I know you from somewhere. Wait, Lily and Stuart? That's awesome. Really?
And I'm pretty sure this is John Kinney's house.
So, 3 guys. They're film dreamers from out of town in Los Angeles. Their names are George, David and Paul. One was a depressed third-rate actor. One was a screenwriter. The other was a director. They admire Lola's father very much. In the face of flattery from strangers, Lola wasn't interested at all. She was in a hurry to get the children to school. She also had an interview today. The interview was a success. Lola was successful. A job in a celebrity's home. She got a job as a house designer. I thought life was slowly getting better. But what Laura didn't expect was, when she came home, 3 boys were still at home. What shocked Lola even more was that Mother actually offered to take them in. She said she was very optimistic about the 3 dreamers. Anyway, there were many rooms in the house. She would let them stay for a week. At first, Lola was very disapproving. After all, no one wants let a bunch of strangers disturb the life of mother and daughter. But when she saw that her daughter was already enjoying herself with 3 people, Lola reluctantly agreed. For the night, Lola arranged a room for them. She thought they were a bunch of giant babies who couldn't take care of themselves. But to her surprise, they were all independent. Good people with good understanding. When Lola was so busy, Paul even offered to pick up her daughter from school. And David will also be enthusiastic to help the family cooking. With the addition of them, Lola was relieved of the burden of life. The family was filled with the long-lost laughter. Little by little, George developed an inexplicable crush on Lola. In private, the 2 would spend time alone in secret. If you let a 20-something-year-old boy to come back into her world, Lola didn't know whether to be happy or sad. As we spent more time together day after day, George finally came into Lola's world. Although they both liked each other, but they never dared to hope to give each other a successful future. Lola knew George's fondness for her was for comfort. To Lola, George was only a spiritual, a remedy for salvation. The 2 were together just to satisfy each other's needs. But in the eyes of outsiders, Lola is the lucky one who was spoiled by 3 young men. Her best friend offered Lola to bring George to her family party and let everyone get to know each other. He's your boyfriend, no matter what. Lola didn't want to say yes, but she couldn't resist her best friend's encouragement. Finally, she sent George an invitation to the party. But George said he had to meet an investor that night. He would be there as soon as it was over. Soon it was the day of the party. But Lola looked around and didn't wait for George. At that moment, George was talking about the future with some investors. He had forgotten all about Lola's proposed party. He had already forgotten all about the party. When he came back, he apologized to Lola at first. In the face of his beloved man missed the appointment. Lola did not intend to forgive. And so their first quarrel came. Perhaps this love, with an age gap, is a mistake in the first place. In order to avoid falling deeper and deeper, Lola decided to end their relationship. The next day Lola started a blind date with a stranger. She seemed to be still in a moment of impulse. Too much alcohol leads her to get drunk on the side of the road. The date saw her drunken appearance. A look of disgust was thrown at her. Thanks to this scene, a passing Paul noticed. He took Dora home on his way, but when he arrived home, he caught the scene in front of him. Lola's husband came to the house, and as expected, this is a good show. It turns out that the husband had heard that his wife had taken in 3 strangers in the house. This time he came all the way back just to prove it. Although the 2 had a bad relationship before, but the husband still made his position clear. This time he came to get back together with Lola, probably out of concern for his daughter. A normal person would have agreed long ago, but since the day Lola Lola moved out. She never wanted to go back. Faced with her husband's request to stay, Lola did not give a clear answer. At the dinner table, he was afraid of losing his wife. He kept warming up to his two daughters. What started out as an awkward meal turned into a showcase for his pampering. Although George, three people feel that Laura's husband is very hypocritical, but as outsiders they were not in a position to express their position. If Lola could be really happy with him, three people are willing to leave at any time. This day David and the men were talking in the yard. The two of them argued over the topic of Lola. As a result of a momentary lapse, David hit the man, but this scene happened to be seen by Lola, who came back.
What is going on?
He started it.
Seeing David, who lives in his own house, and hit his family, Lola threw them away in a moment of confusion. Facing these days, the happy time spent with her brothers, the daughter's face showed a look of reluctance to leave. After getting out of Lola's house, the three of them moved into a modest hotel, although they succeeded in forcing them out. But Lola did not choose to get back together with her husband. Instead, she filed for divorce. Thinking back to all that had happened, the two daughters were very sad to see George and his family.
We're good? George was gonna come from the play.
Yeah, I know George. I know, trust me. He won't come.
The days that followed, they both went back to their separate lives. Lola started a new job, and George and the guys continued to immerse themselves in the movie, writing scripts and rehearsing. Just as time was erasing the traces of the past, Lola suddenly found George, and when they met again, George is still haunted by the missed appointment. At the same time, he was also relieved of Lola, because Lola deserves someone better, not a man like him who has no success. And Lola also confessed that she has never regretted meeting George. George taught her to see herself, to show her that she wasn't an unloved loser. Soon came the day of her eldest daughter's performance. While her daughter was still wondering if Paul to come or not to come, the three of them had already dropped their important contract. They were on their way to school. At first, my daughter was very nervous about standing on stage. Finally, when she found Paul backstage waving to her, there was no more trepidation inside her. And so it was. Daughter finished the game with a bang. It was like her brother. It gave her an invisible strength. The end of the story. The family chatted freely at the dinner table. Only compared to before, there was not only more laughter, there was more unity and harmony for once. So what if we lose our marriage? As long as they don't lose their family and mood, they will always be a happy family. When the past has become the past, when you walk out with determination, you will find that even without that person, you can live well alone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.